Who killed Bobby Kennedy? His son RFK Jr. doesn't believe it was Sirhan Sirhan. Number 2. He never got near my father. At trial, defense lawyer Grant Cooper made the decision not to contest the charge that Sirhan fired the fatal shot and instead tried to persuade the jury not to impose the death penalty by arguing Sirhan had diminished capacity and didn't know what he was doing. It is a standard tactic by attorneys in death penalty cases, but Cooper, who died in 1990, was widely criticized for not investigating the case before conceding guilt. Sirhan is now 74 and approaching 50 years behind bars. After California's courts abolished the death penalty in 1972, he was first made eligible for parole in 1986 but has been rejected repeatedly. In 2016, Shreve spoke on Sirhan's behalf at his parole hearing and apologized for not coming forward sooner to advocate for Sirhan's release and exoneration. California inmates are not permitted to give media interviews, and Sirhan did not respond to a letter from the Post. But his brother, Munir Sirhan, said Sirhan still hopes to be released and that his defense team probably hurt his case more than helped it. There's plenty of damning evidence against Sirhan. He confessed to the killing at trial, although he claims this was done on his attorney's instruction. He took hours of target practice with his pistol earlier in the day, and he took the gun into the Ambassador Hotel that night. He had been seen at a Kennedy speech at the Ambassador 2 days earlier. He had a newspaper clipping critical of Kennedy in his pocket and had written "RFK must die" in notebooks at home, although he said he didn't remember doing that. And he waited in the pantry for about 30 minutes, according to witnesses who said he asked if Kennedy would be coming through there. But questions about the case arose almost immediately in Los Angeles, resulting in hearings and re-investigations as early as 1971 by the district attorney, the police chief, the county board of supervisors and the county superior court. Many of them focused on the ballistics of the case, starting with Noguchi's finding that Kennedy had been shot from behind, which Sirhan's lawyer didn't raise in his defense. In addition, lead crime scene investigator Dwayne Wolfer testified at trial that a bullet taken from Kennedy's body and bullets from 2 of the wounded victims all matched Sirhan's gun. But other experts who examined the 3 bullets said they had markings from different guns and different bullet manufacturers. An internal police document concluded that Kennedy and Weissel bullets not fired from same gun. Weissel was the wounded ABC News producer and Kennedy bullet not fired from Sirhan's revolver. This prompted a Los Angeles judge in 1975 to convene a panel of 7 forensic experts, who examined the 3 bullets and refired Sirhan's gun. The panel said no match could be made between the 3 bullets, which appeared to be fired from the same gun, and Sirhan's revolver. They found Wolfer had done a sloppy job with the ballistics evidence and urged further investigation. In addition, witnesses said bullet holes were found in the door frames of the ambassador's pantry, and photos showed investigators examining the holes in the hours after the shooting. Between the 3 bullets that hit Kennedy and the bullets that hit the 5 wounded victims, Wolfer had accounted for all 8 of Sirhan's shots. Bullets in the doors would indicate a second gun. Wolfer later said the holes and the metal inside were not bullets, and the door frames were destroyed after the trial. Though Los Angeles authorities had promised transparency in the case, the police and prosecutors refused to release their files until 1988, when they produced a flood of new evidence for researchers. Among the material was an audio tape, first unearthed by CNN journalist Brad Johnson, which had been inadvertently made by Polish journalist Stanislaw Pruszynski in the Ambassador Hotel's ballroom, and turned over to police in 1969. Pruszynski's microphone had been on the podium where Kennedy spoke, and TV footage shows him detaching it and moving toward the pantry as the shooting happens. In 2005, audio engineer Philip Van Praag said the tape revealed that about 13 shots had been fired. He said he used technology similar to that of the shot spotter used by police to alert them to gunshots, and which differentiates gunshots from firecrackers or other loud bangs. Van Praag said recently that different guns create different resonances and that he was able to establish that two guns were fired, that they fired in different directions, and that some of the shot impulses were so close together they couldn't have been fired by the same gun. He said he could not say precisely 13 shots but certainly more than the 8 contained by Sirhan's gun. There were too many bullets, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said. You can't fire 13 shots out of an 8-shot gun. British author Melton wrote The Forgotten Terrorist, which posits that Sirhan killed Kennedy because he supported sending military firepower to Israel. The Sirhans were Christian Palestinians forced from their Jerusalem home by Israel in 1948. He said Van Praag had misinterpreted the Pruszynski tape and that other experts who examined it show only 8 spikes, 1 for each gunshot. And also cited numerous eyewitnesses who said they heard at most 8 shots. And investigative reporter Dan Moldia, who also wrote a book about the assassination, argue that Sirhan's gun could have reached Kennedy's back. No witnesses saw the actual shots fired in the chaos of the pantry, and Moldia noted that Kennedy almost certainly turned and tried to protect himself after the first shot, which some said was preceded by Sirhan yelling, "Kennedy, you son of a B!" What were Kennedy's last words? Moldia asked during an interview. How's Paul? How would Kennedy know Paul had been injured if he had not been turned around? He turned around when Sirhan rushes towards him, yelling "You sons of a B!" Kennedy. Kennedy is not going to just stand there. He turns his back defensively. Moldia theorized that Schrade fell forward into Kennedy, pinning him against a table and pushing him into the muzzle of Sirhan's gun, enabling him to fire 4 contact shots into Kennedy. 1 shot went through his jacket without hitting Kennedy, 1 went into his back and stopped below his neck, 1 went through his armpit and 1 went into his brain. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr. doesn't find those theories persuasive.